All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lion Bolt Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration, really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very, very special guest and feature titan for today, this is episode 248, all the way from beautiful Australia, none other than Donna Webeck. Now, Donna, thank you so much for taking the time. It is an absolute honor and a thrill and a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, Greg, the pleasure is all mine. Thank you for inviting me to be a real estate titan.
Oh my gosh. You don't need this show to let everybody else in the world know, Donna. And just to give everybody out there, Donna and I have known each other for a while, and I absolutely love and respect her and what she does. True professional. I'm so excited to share Donna's story and where she comes from and what's going on. So Donna, it's a true honor when I say that. It's always great to have a friend on the show.
Thank you. And, I don't do too many of these. So for me, it's nice to have a familiar, friendly face who's doing the interviewing.
I'm here. I've got you, Donna. So without further ado, let's dive into a series of questions, get everybody out there to know who you are, Donna, and what you do. And this episode is very special because it's from a very specific segment into real estate, and that's copywriting. And I cannot wait for you to just blow everybody's minds, Donna. But I guess let's start with just telling everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what got you into the business, and where you are today.
Yeah. Okay. So as you mentioned, I'm based in Australia. I'm a specialist real estate and property copywriter. I work with clients all across Australia and the US, some clients in Europe as well too. And I create compelling property copy that's designed to connect with buyers and convert into sales. It came about, I launched Prestige Property Copy in 2015. I had been writing professionally since 2011, but I'd always had this real passion for property and passion for emotive, creative writing. And I wanted to weave the two together. And it was back in 2013 when we were house hunting and I was reading property listings and ads. I had a little son and I knew I was going to have to spend my time going to houses. And none of these ads were actually making me feel anything. And I was like, there must be a market in there for people who write the way that I want to read. I want to be able to picture myself in this property. How's it going to benefit me? What's my lifestyle going to be like? How's it going to make me feel? But there was just none of that out there. And that's basically where the idea was born. Wow. And it just took a couple of years to get the idea into place, having a young child and things like that. But eventually I was able to create Prestige Property Copy with one single client back in 2015 to now 2022. And my client base has expanded, to be all over the world with thousands of listings and websites and brochures and you name it. If it's property copy, I've written it since then.
Oh my gosh, Donna. And again, you're underselling your perspective into there. You are truly worldwide, Donna. And it's been an honor and a pleasure to know you this time frame that we've known each other, but working with you is an absolute pleasure. And I cannot stress this enough to anybody who's watching or listening after the fact. Donna is a secret weapon that should not be a secret, that everyone should know Donna and what she does. And it makes such a massive difference in your real estate. And you just scratched the surface, Donna, on a few things, which we'll dive into in a second. But what I'd like to do is go a little bit further back. So the initial thought process, which I love, is, out of, hey, you didn't see or you weren't able to read or really feel those emotions for that property itself as a physical buyer. And I know that if you felt that way, that's a massive thing that so many other buyers are looking at. And the real estate professionals that are out there aren't doing their sellers any justice or service if they're not focusing on the end result, the emotion and the tie to the property. And I love that you shared that. We'll dive in deeper, but what was it like pre-copywriting? Where did the passion originally start, Donna? Because you said 2011. I mean, what were you doing before all this? I want to get to know you a little bit more.
Ooh. Look, I have always been obsessed with the written word. I have been writing stories my entire life, losing myself in books and creative writing, things like that. I've always had a very vivid imagination. Always loved to write and read and be creative. I just had never really worked out what I wanted to do with my life. So it just took a little while. I was, I had a really supportive husband who was a journalist. So he is a writer. But it took until having my first child to realize that I wanted a career that was going to be flexible and be something that I really enjoyed and something that I could work around family. And I just never lost that. Even though I sort of got lost on the way to becoming a writer originally, I never lost that dream that I had to make it work somehow. And oh my goodness, it's definitely exceeded all my expectations from when I started back in 2011.
Wow, unreal, Donna. And I love that, because the passion and I get to experience this on a regular basis because we get to have chats and I get to experience you. But for anybody out there just feeling your emotion and passion behind writing and the written word, it's just so inspiring. And I always bring it back to the thought process. It doesn't matter what your passion is. I mean, go after it and seize it and really see things through, just as you've done. And so many other entrepreneurs. And I find that to be so inspiring all the way through and through. And to the listeners out there, obviously core into real estate, that's what it's all about for them. So I really do want to dive into that piece too, Donna. Get a little bit on the direct side with your clients. And I guess break it down to anybody who's listening. Maybe this is the first time they've ever heard of copywriting, or they think that copywriting is not actual text. They think it's a legal sort of standing, right?
That happens a lot.
So what do you mean copywriting? So I guess from your own words, Donna, explain to everybody, really what is copywriting, and then from the real estate professional listening, why they need it and what they can use with it. Just some of that tactical information in there.
Sure. So you actually touched on it before, what I call copywriting in real estate. It is a secret weapon because so many people are not utilizing and unleashing the power of the written word. Marketing in real estate focuses a lot on video and photography, which is fantastic and much needed. Sure. But if you add in that element of copywriting, then you're really going to stand above the crowd. So copywriting is a way of it's just another way of enhancing your property portfolio, whether it's a listing, whether it's a website, a brochure, just something like that. But it's going to be something that's written by a professional who knows how to trigger an emotional response and elicit an emotion through crafting copy. So copywriting is basically storytelling. It's just using particular techniques to really attract the attention of those readers and making sure that you hook them in and keep them reading and make them want to know more or make them picture themselves in the story that you've created. And I've been able to do that with my real estate clients, whether it's writing Facebook ads, whether it's listings for properties, whether it's an agent bio, websites, all those sorts of things. So it's my job to create, just put something that's usually mundane and not really bothered about. I create that into a story and something that's emotive and something that's going to compel someone to read on or to ring up or to make an inquiry and to hopefully, increase competition and drive up prices and help a seller get the best result from their property if that's where they're using me.
Oh, Donna. And I don't think anybody could have said that better. I mean, that's your world that you live, eat, sleep, and breathe. And it's truly making a huge impact under any of those circumstances. And anybody out there who's tuning in right now, you've been in the situation where you're reading a property description or a website or some kind of article, or if you see an ad and you're just bored to death and you start reading it and you say, why am I reading this? And you keep moving on. Donna does an incredible job of capturing the attention and the emotion with the person who's actually going to experience that. So for the example, if you're a listing agent and you're really trying to craft that right message for those key buyers, Donna knows what they're going through. You understand all these differences and to the emotions and what makes them make decisions and how to really hook them into that, to dive deep. And everybody knows that sales is an emotional thing. And if it's a cold calculated, here's 4 bedrooms, 3 bathroom, 2-car garage, it's not connecting with anybody. So
No.
there's so much depth and information, and I can't stress that enough. And that's just for property. But Donna, there's so many incredible things, and I've had incredible experience just working with you myself. I mean, I'm your biggest fan. So I just gotta say that. But
right back at you.
I think this is fantastic stuff, and I would love nothing more than everybody to go and get to know Donna a little bit more. But Donna, I know that there's so many things that you're doing, and there's so many incredible people that you're working with all over the world. And I know that you're constantly learning or growing, but you're also sharing. And I would love for the audience to know a little bit more about the course that you just created and launched, and how they can kind of get a hold of it, and just, I guess, a little bit more about that, because I think it's important for everybody to know if they want to learn more about copywriting.
Yeah, well, I created the Introduction to Real Estate Copywriting course, launched it late last year, basically as a way, because I'm only one person, I can only service so many clients, and I would love to work with everybody if I could, but I logistically can't. So this was a way of being able to teach others in the real estate profession how to create an emotive and compelling ad themselves. It's really specifically for real estate listings. Okay. So I go through and discuss, and talk about how, storytelling and the importance of, show, don't tell, which is a little copywriting technique. Talk about, features and benefits, working out who the target audience is and making sure you write with them in mind. And then I go through my little 4-step formula about how to create a really compelling ad that hooks them in, how it entices them, where to elaborate, where to educate them, call to action, tie it all together. And it's just a really simple step-by-step solution for copywriters, real estate agents, and their support staff to be able to do what I do, but to learn how to do it themselves, just so that there are more ads out there that are well written, because that is going to create more competition and drive up prices and give buyers and sellers a better experience, whether they're, reading and wanting to buy, or selling and wanting the best price possible. It is only 7 a.m. here in the morning.
It's early, everybody, right?
It's
Donna's
early.
in Australia.
But I just found that this was a way that I could, get the secret out there that, the written word really does matter in marketing, in real estate. So, it's become a bit of a mission of mine to help spread the word and get this message across.
I love it, Donna. And the fact that you took the time over all the years of experience and professionalism and expertise and put it in a step-by-step palatable program for people to really just implement. And I love that you had mentioned who it's for, because that would have been my tail question. I mean, if you're a individual real estate professional or a team lead, if that's the case, or you're bringing this on for somebody who's on your team, who's in charge of all your marketing itself, or hey, if you're a copywriter, everyone can learn from this and implement it. And again, you can always reach directly out to Donna and, get the full suite of service. There's no doubt there. But I think it's just nice to have that knowledge and to educate yourself further, trying to take your business and your craft to the highest of level. And you're right, videos and photos are crucial. But what we always say is the 3 combined, those are really the 3 pillars. You can't have the most effective marketing without photos, videos, and copywriting. If you have all 3, boy, watch out. You can make things happen. Yeah. So I love that, Donna. What's the best way for people to find you or the course so that they can dive in deeper if they want to, jump in, or if they want to get to know you or hire you directly? What's the best way, just for the show notes?
Sure. So if people want to head to www.prestigepropertycopy.com.au, that'll take you to my website. There is a page on there that's dedicated to the course, which has just gone live. So I will share that with you, Greg. You can put it in the show notes as well too. But that'll give people information on how to get in contact with me, to learn a little bit more about me and my business, and the course as well too.
Okay, beautiful. And we will have that in the show notes and the comments. So I encourage everybody to check that out for sure. Now, Donna, I do want to go into the second part of this and really the tactical side. And I know you shared a ton of knowledge and information already, and we've really woven that story to get to know Donna. Now I want to see kind of the tactical piece, because everybody wants to learn from the Titans, right? And from a business professional, from an entrepreneurial spirit, and everything in between. I guess if you could look back at your career thus far and pick or choose one or two things you might have added or implemented into your business that you really saw growth, you saw change in scale, a piece of advice that you could give to the listeners, what might that be for you?
It was definitely surrounding myself with the right people. I joined a community online. One was a mastermind, a digital marketing mastermind here in Australia.
Okay.
And another one was a copywriting community, which might sound odd because, you know, they are technically competition, but it's actually a really incredible community that's so supportive. And when you work alone, you know, you're a solo entrepreneur, it's nice to have people who understand, who are in the same industry, who you can bounce ideas off. If you're going through things and you're not sure how to work things out, even business questions, things like that. Those two groups have been really incredible for me. I feel like they elevated me from what felt like a little bit of a sideline hobby that it started out into a serious business. It gave me all the tools and tips and tricks and things like that to, you know, to make this a business and, you know, grow from just like a, you know, part-time little do here or there to like a six-figure serious business that consumes my everyday now.
Oh, wow. But Donna, I love that piece of advice and going through, and we've said this time and time again, you know, we're all guilty by association, positive or negative, and who we surround ourselves with ends up being our ultimate reflection for our environment. And the fact that you went out of your way to say, who are these people that I can learn from? Who are these people that I can grow with and share with and mastermind? I think that's it's an underutilized opportunity that so many people just are either nervous or they feel like they are not going to be able to contribute. There's so many reasons why it holds people back from reaching out to joining groups. And I think it's a big mistake. That's a huge piece of advice. And no one does it alone. I think you look at the old adage, you know, what is it? The high tides raise all ships. And I think that you base it off of surrounding yourself with other top-notch copywriters. And I think that to the real estate side, it's the same principle. Look, you should be masterminding with top real estate pros. And yes, they're your competition, depending if what they're doing in the market, but ultimately no one's going to do it like Donna. And that's my opinion, but everybody has their own flavor, their own direction, their own niche. So why not help each other grow? Why not learn from each other and share that? I appreciate it, Donna. That's
oh no, it's been a fabulous experience and definitely something that's helped grow my business.
Love it. Okay, so I got to ask, anything else, or is that the golden nugget that we got?
That's probably the golden nugget for like the growth. But you know, I also am a fan of SEO and how that's helped my business as well too.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, it's definitely what's helped my name get known out in the marketplace, and my, you know, how that's probably how you found me originally as well, all the way from Colorado.
That's right.
In the States a couple of years ago. So that's been another way that's helped as well too.
And I love the fact you mentioned SEO. And for anybody who doesn't know SEO, search engine optimization, when you're looking at it from that standpoint, Donna, it's so true. And it's an old adage, but it's not the best business, but the best known business that wins. And ultimately, we have to be exposed to the right people, right places, right markets to have opportunities. And whether that's physically or digitally, either way. So I think that that's a sound piece of advice for people to look at their digital footprint and say, hey, am I really getting in front of people on a consistent basis? Am I really connecting with them in a meaningful way? And again, just because you have search engine optimization doesn't mean that the copywriting is compelling enough for them to read and say, that is what I need.
Oh, yes. It all dovetails.
Yes. Yes.
It all joins together.
I think that's beautiful, Donna. And again, I love the advice and the thought process and inspiration and just getting to know you. I feel like I got to know you more, Donna, and I've known you for a
I
while. So this is
know.
good. This is really good. I
It's
absolutely
great.
enjoyed it. So I can't thank you enough, Donna, for taking the time, and really just sharing your story. Any closing remarks or any thoughts before we wrap this up? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I just would like to say, just, in this day and age where people are doing a lot of things remotely this time, and where people are moving to places for lifestyle reasons and things like that, I just really want realtors to remember that that's why copywriting is so important at the moment too, because people can't always physically visit a place if they're looking to move across the country or something like that. So that's another way that having great copywriting, emotive, compelling storytelling matters when you're working with listings, because you really want people to be able to read and picture themselves in that place, as well as looking at the pictures. It needs to dovetail together. So just keep that in mind. All your buyers reading might not be local. They might not know the area. They might not know what's around. So that's where a copywriter can really bring those things to life.
Wow. Love it. Donna, we could just keep going and going.
I know.
I want to leave this out to everybody. This is why you got to reach out to Donna. You got to go to the site. You got to check her out, follow her on social media. We'll have all the contacts down below. Donna, again, every time we chat, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm just glad we got to do this live in front of the audience.
Me too.
So this is great. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time, Donna. It was great.
Is always mine, Greg. Always love chatting to you, and thanks for having me as a real estate titan.
Yeah, I have to say this too. This is dubbed in. You are an official real estate titan. That's a badge of honor that no one can take away from you. It's yours forever. So I always say there's no trophies or plaques, but it's in your heart, Donna. So it's there.
Absolutely.
Forever.
It is there.
But thanks again. And everybody, thank you as always for your time, attention, your love, and support. If you like what you're doing with Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do at this point, but I do have to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Lionbolt Media. If you are a real estate professional and you're looking to grow and scale your digital business, please visit lionboltmedia.com. They got a free master course in there you can take a look at and learn more on how to do that. We're live here on Real Estate Titans every Tuesday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. Catch everybody in the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks, Donna.
Bye.